We live in a very competitive world. It's very difficult to make a mark of our own. It's even more difficult to keep that mark alive and thriving. But today, we have with us a persona who not only made an indelible mark, but also redefined, revolutionized, and conquered the very industry he's been a part of. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with immense pleasure and great happiness that I invite the Sanjeev Kapoor onto this show, probably the only person who we could call the father of Indian cuisine. Namaste, sir. Thank you so much to be on this show. So let us start with a very basic question. Sanjeev Kapoor and Kerala. How long does this relationship date back? Have you ever been here before?
Oh, many times. Okay.
Okay.
See, it's called God's own country, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, if you believe in God, you would come to Kerala, and I have believed in God forever.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Many years ago, when I first started filming, and the Kerala tourism at that time was starting with their campaigns and all, and I remember there was a very dynamic person who was heading Kerala tourism at that time, and he invited us, and I filmed Kerala for 15 days, all across.
Okay, that's brilliant.
All parts of Kerala, and we filmed all across, not just food, but locations of Kerala.
Right.
And everything. So I have seen length and breadth of Kerala. I have tasted food of Kerala. I have now we have restaurants in Kerala. We have the Yellow Chili in Trivandrum, in Kochi, and we'll have more.
Sure. Now that we have already touched upon the topic of food of Kerala, we have different kinds of varieties, like every nook and corner of Kerala. So, which one appeals to you the most, if I may ask like that?
No, so according to me, food is something that whatever you taste, it should leave a mark, and it does.
Absolutely.
And for a person like me, it's never about that what touched you most. It's like you have lived so many years. Which was the breath that you took, which was most important? Each breath is important. The breath, when it stops, there's no life. So that's why it's food to me is like breathing. I think beauty of Kerala is that if we look at India, there are not too many places which gives you such diversity in terms of what you have. So there's a big landmass that is there. There are mountains which are very distinct. Coast, of course, that's there. And then you have something for a foodie as important as what ingredient which ruled the world, pepper, comes from Kerala. It has seen such distinct rulers, I should say, that so many different people have come in and settled here. They have brought in so many different things, cultures, taste, everything. So this diversity is something which is phenomenal. Which is so at one stage you have something that's a pepper, very traditional, something that India had, and then so let's look at curry mean polichittu if you have to do today. Can you do it without onion and tomatoes? You cannot. Kerala didn't have tomatoes. It just came in a little over 400 years ago, right?
Absolutely.
But the beauty is that while it has shared what is it has grown, so it gave world the pepper, which needs, when you give something, you need a large heart. Okay? It's not that people can come and snatch it. It is something that you share with a large heart. But at the same time, you should have the graciousness to accept, which Kerala has always had. So it makes it special, and I think that's why it's called God's own country.
You became a big sensation at a very young age. Matlab, you were just 27, right? If I'm not wrong. At that point of time, I think even the term chef wasn't a thing. And male chef is something it's totally, out of the heads of the people. So how did you tackle that challenge at a very young age? How did you just bring yourself about that?
So, one, I didn't have to deal with it.
You didn't?
I didn't have to.
Okay.
The reason is I never believed that I was a sensation. So I have continued to be the same person that I was. So I have not changed. So people ask me that, so I have very close friends who have been friends from childhood, and they say, you haven't changed at all. I say, I don't get the question.
Okay.
Why should you change?
Very
There's no reason to change. So I really don't get it. Do you change because you become famous, you have more money, you have more cars?
That shouldn't change who you are.
Why should you change you?
Absolutely.
Do you change for your kids? Do you change for your parents? Do you change for the... No, you don't change. So I...
Okay, that wasn't an answer I was expecting at all. And you have such positive energy, sir. Really, it's really amazing. So coming to the Khana Khazana thing, the big thing of television industry, something that created a history on its own. You mentioned already that there is not one particular instance or one particular breath that means a lot more than the usual. But if you were to take the 18 years of Khana Khazana life of yours, is there any one particular instance or experience that really touched you? Like something happened and you were like, oh my God, I'm going to remember this forever. Was there any one particular instance or anything like that?
Actually, millions of them. Seriously, it's something which even today it continues to happen. It's not something that each day there is something that is significant. And I think that's what makes the whole experience of life so meaningful and so joyful, is that importance of one small thing is much more than one most significant thing most people. So I work very closely with Akshay Patra, and we feed about 18 million kids every day. Right?
Wow.
And people ask me, oh, that's a big number. I said, no, the thing is that making sure that there is one extra person that we have been able to feed, and that smile on that person's face is life changing. It's so meaningful. So to say over the years, was there something that I look back and say, so fortunately for me, I really don't look back. To me, the most important thing in life is now. Most important person in my life is you.
Right.
Because you are now.
Absolutely.
So that is something, if I'm with you, I'm 100% with you. I'm in this moment. It's not that I'll move on and I'll forget. So I understand and I respect that opening lines when you spoke. You were brilliant in your thought, very precise, concise. What you did, I don't know whether you worked on it or you did. You were very good with it. You have done your research on everything. And I enjoy that, I respect that. So for me, these things are more important than saying and reflecting too much, because life moves on.
Absolutely.
So I believe in that, I believe.
You believe in now,
Yeah.
is what you're saying. Sir, you've always talked about women empowerment through the art of cooking. Okay, let me just ask something else. Do you call it the art of cooking or the science of cooking?
Okay. So to me, food, and when you convert it, it needs both art and science, both. So I say that the art of cooking becomes more meaningful when you understand the science behind it. So to prove this also, that I just, so we started Culinary Institute in Pune with Symbiosis. And the degree that we offer there, it is BSc, Bachelor's of Science in Culinary Arts.
Oh.
So
That explains it.
That explains it. And to get in, you need to be a science student.
Okay.
So people...
No chance.
Yeah, no, so why I say this is because many people think that, oh, we can achieve this and we can do all of this and we can become world famous and we can do this. But you know what, we don't want to study. I said, no, it's not something that you do. You want to immerse into it, then
मेहनत तो करना पड़ेगा
मेहनत तो
भाई.
करना पड़ेगा.
Sure.
So that's why.
Yeah, sure. So yes, coming back to the question we started off with, women empowerment and cooking. How successful have you been and your whole team has been regarding that? I mean, we've always seen women cook,
Sure.
but how's that ever going to empower them unless and until they know that it is empowering?
Sure. So this was, so I've been doing this, I've been teaching women how to cook. TV came in later, I was doing that before that also. But when I started to become famous, people would know, and there would be a story a day, I would say, where I would hear. So I remember we'd gone for our office meeting we did in Colombo many years ago, and at the airport I met a couple, and that lady, she saw me, and I was waiting for my bag at the belt, and she was also waiting, and she saw me from a distance. She came running, she touched my feet, and she started crying, and he couldn't console her. She was so, and now what's happening? And she said that no, this is, I have to share this with you. I could not cook, and my mom would tell me that learn to cook, but I thought, okay, I'll cook, but I didn't know that how important it was. And I said, no, it's not that important that you say, no, my mom said that you'll get married and you should know how to cook. I said, no, I don't.
The regular Indian mom dialogue.
So anyway, but in this case, it was important for her because she got married to love of her life.
Sure.
But when she got married, she didn't know how to cook. She was ill-treated by her in-laws, and her husband did not support her.
Okay, that's fine.
Now, support her in the sense, so she was ill-treated and all of that, and so she started to use my books and my shows and all of that, and she learned how to cook, and now she says that now I can cook so well, I'm darling of the house. He says I was timid. I was somebody that they could run me over, but now I can cook. I have the power of cooking. And she called her husband, hey, from when you could, it was, I said, sir, now because everyone loves me so much, because of this cooking, and I said, yeah, but, they said, no, sir, you don't know what it means to me. I said, no, I understand this. So then she shared something. She said, sir, when we got married, we were to go on our honeymoon, but people realized that I could not cook. My honeymoon was cancelled.
Oh my God, she had to pay such a huge cost.
And she said that now it's been 3 years, and now, after 3 years, now that I learned to cook, I cook so well, we have come on our honeymoon.
Oh,
so that's
so
where we
sweet.
should. So it can empower in many different ways. So I remember my father, he was alive. He called me one night, late in the night, and he says, what you are doing is phenomenal. It's very good, this cooking that you are teaching, and you are giving women of this country a reason to be independent. And I said, how independent? He said, no, this is the real emancipation of women. And he says, it's something that they've always done, but they've never been given any credit. They have never got applause for it. Now, through this, it's being celebrated. So he said, remember that the celebration that is happening around you, it's celebration and emancipation of Indian women. He says, you may not realize it. People will not realize it, but years to come, centuries to come would remember that women, through power of cooking, this liberation happened. And you were, I thought, wow, it is that serious, that significant. And then he added, he said that if you can do more with it, if you can make them more independent, so always keep this in mind. And so when we started Wonder Chef, so one of the first things that we talked about was that this is what we want to do, and so we continue to do, and whatever small way we can empower. We always keep that. Not that women need people like me. They have more power, which I have always believed, and but still, whatever I can do, I do.
Sure. I sincerely hope you can keep, empowering women in the ways they want, and, keep giving new lease of life to all these women, men, apart from all these gender rules and stuff. You have a very cordial relationship with the Honorable Prime Minister. So could you please say about that, maybe a word or two? How has your relationship been with?
Actually, I've had the privilege of working with many prime ministers, right from Indira Gandhi ji to Rajiv Gandhi ji to. So I was fortunate. I would say that I was. So.
You'll be like, ये बाएं हाथ का खेल है.
नहीं, बाएं हाथ का खेल I think खाने की power है. खाने की power है, and it's good to learn from people who achieved so much. And our Prime Minister, I've been fortunate to cook for him, and every time I meet him, he has so much energy. It's just
How do you think Sri Narendra Modi takes care of his fitness regime? I mean, it's brilliant.
Oh yeah, no, he's he's blessed, I must say. He's definitely blessed. In food, he's a simple person. He's not somebody who wants this, that. He's pure vegetarian. He fasts. But he's not a fussy eater. That's something which.
Is he a foodie?
He's a foodie.
Okay.
He's a food. He's a simple person, yet he respects food.
We have all these young generation, eating all the carbs and all the junk food, and we don't really take care of our health. I mean, it's very shameful to say that, but we don't really do that. So what would be your piece of advice to the young generation?
First is that no food is bad. First understand this.
Okay.
खाने को कभी डायबिटीज नहीं होती, खाने को कभी बुखार नहीं होता, खाने की हड्डी नहीं टूटती, इंसान खराब होते हैं, पहली बात, राइट? अब अगर किसी इंसान में कुछ खराबी है तो कुछ खाने उनके लिए ठीक नहीं हो सकते, दैट इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी. बट अदरवाइज carbs are not bad, fat is not bad, salt is not bad. Everything in moderation is needed. Everything. So key operative word is moderation. Each body is different. Each body understand. जब आप अति करेंगे, when you do more than what is needed, the body will send you signal. At that time, it is up to you to ignore or respect. If you ignore, you pay for it. Your neighbor does not pay for your penance is yours, right? So it's a choice that you make.
Yeah.
So it's one, anything that is local, anything that is fresh, anything that is seasonal is good for you. Anything that is processed may not be as good. Yeah. In moderation, everything is good. With that, physical activity. I'm not saying go to the gym. I'm saying this. You're not sitting on second floor. There's a lift in Yellow Chili. You can walk.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right. Right. So you have to do it.
Yeah.
Build that in your daily routine, and have time to yourself to reflect. लंबी सांस लेने का टाइम हो, सिर्फ फोन पे ही नहीं. And stress की जगह rest लो. So rest is important. So younger generation, one of the biggest problems is not food, it's not taking enough rest. And that's both mental and physical, both. So seasonal, fresh, local food in moderation, unprocessed, and physical activity and rest.
Absolutely.
Fine.
I hope we all take that into our heads and, most importantly keep
Yeah, you
that.
have to follow it.
करना तो पड़ेगा.
नहीं करोगे तो पड़ोसी को नुकसान नहीं होगा, अपना होगा. वो पहले रेलवे में पढ़ता था बचपन में, सवारी अपने सामान की खुद जिम्मेवार है. तो आप अपने बॉडी के खुद जिम्मेवार हैं.
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल. You've always maintained that your first and foremost idea is to make the Indian cuisine the number one in the world.
It's not that you can think and it'll happen. You can just say something, but it'll never happen. So you put that into a structure and then you go that in a definitive way, and there will be ups and downs, but if you know where you're going, the chances are you'll reach there. But if you don't know where you're going, you can go nowhere.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we sincerely hope that you keep making all us Indians bigger and prouder. Thank you so much, sir, for having taken out so much time of your busy schedule, and we loved having you here on our show, sir. Thank you so much. Namaste, sir.
Thank you.